Greetings, my fellow city builders. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Citadelum, Episode 4, Sandbox Gameplay. Alright, question for you guys. The first poll of the stream. The next mission would be Prepare for War. But, what should I play? Campaign or Sandbox? I can leave it up to you. Just to tell you what the campaign looks like, it's more of the same. Not that it's a problem. It does ramp up. So, the next campaign is still an easy difficulty campaign, and then it becomes normal at amid arms, and then eventually hard once you get up to Fate's full find a way. And basically the difficulty level is like what your starting funds are and how many potential enemies there are in the world. If you use my tactic of not sending your explorer out to find enemies, the extra enemy presence doesn't really matter. As long as you don't know that they're there, they don't raid you. Because if you don't know that they're there, they don't know you're there. Which is a strange mechanic, but that's just how it works. Alternatively, I could do a sandbox in some specific location. And maybe I would pick a hard terrain to do a sandbox in, just for the fun of it. There was also community-generated maps. So despite the fact that there's like a finite number of campaigns, at least for now, there's always community maps to play as well. So if you want to download a community map, you can do that. And then you can also create your own community maps through the game editors. So there's a bunch of different ways to play this. And it looks like Sandbox is kind of winning. So let's see. I'm going to pick what looks to be maybe the hardest map to play. Amid Arms is mostly desert. And it's come down to the Last Reserve is like interesting terrain, although it's very defendable for this part of the peninsula. Yeah. And here, as you can see, you can like turn off gods, turn off fire, turn off diseases. I'm not sure what diseases are, I'll be honest. I've like never got diseased, so I don't know if that's an actual game mechanic that exists yet or not. But I can crank up like enemy raids and battles if you'd want. So all right, let's do Sandbox. I have about 2 hours left, so we'll try to make question. How aesthetic should the new city be? And this might affect the difficulty that I choose, but how pretty should we try to make it? Should it be the main focus? Should it be like balanced of form over function, or should it be all function over form? Have you guys picked that? And I'm trying to think of what is the hardest map to play on. This one looks pretty interesting for a sandbox. No, I'll play this one. It's mostly desert with like a fertile river. There's actually a few spots on this map that would be really easy to defend given the water's location. And maybe that's what I pick. I don't want to like pick a dumb starting location for the sake of being dumb, you know? Okay, so we'll go balanced. And enemy raids and battles on hard. Cool. Thank you for voting, by the way. All right. So, taking a look at the map, I no longer have, like, objectives or anything, right? Because this is balanced. Looks to me like this section of the peninsula is both fertile and has resources that are pretty easy to exploit. So there's stone, iron, stone, stone. Where's my iron, actually? Because I don't want to be... So the closest iron apart from that is here. I actually like the challenge of that. So I'm going to set the initial forum up to be... maybe about here. Alright. For reservoir... I'm going to plan to have 2 reservoirs, one for each sort of like section of the town. So one for the plebs, one for the patricians, instead of having it combined, because I intend for this city to be larger than previous ones. So here's my water wheel. Done. Oh, yeah, well, it would help if I actually completed the aqueduct. So a balance of aesthetics and, like, a balance of form and function. Got it. So I think what I'll do here is I'm going to throw out some of the previous designs that I was using, just to keep things a little fresh. I'm going to need to move the reservoir over a little bit. That'll work. Actually, I don't really like that layout so much. I'll have a water-facing market. Get rid of this road. Okay. Let's fix the aqueduct. And then I'm going to unpause, and I'll try to leave it like mostly unpaused so as to not freeze when I have issues. So just so that there's a very short travel time, which I think, in my opinion, is like more important than efficiency in the long run. I'm going to set up, I'm going to set up the camps for iron and stone adjacent. Because there's, and my reason for this is there's like finite natural resources that you can acquire. And you might as well get your stone and your iron as fast as possible so that you're not bottlenecked. We need these service buildings. I was hoping that I would be able to cover most of this with the first one. So let's see. Not quite. Pretty close. All I would need to do is move this logging camp a little bit. And the iron camp a little bit. And it's close enough to the iron that I don't think it's going to be an issue. So now that is all covered by one engineer post, and let's do a fire station. Same deal, it covers it all. Perfect. So I can also put more plebeian housing over here, which was my intent, so that we have multiple sort of like neighborhoods, if you will. And then, yeah, let's actually start the other neighborhood. So I'll start with this corner here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, and a market. Cool. Now with that laid out, that's where the plebeians will be. We're going to want a granary. Maybe I will... Oh, this is off the map tile. So I'll put the granary sort of arbitrarily over here. So we can start getting the wheat we need. Right. Solid setup, I think. I'll fast forward time so that we get the first 20 plebeians and be able to unlock patricians. So the patricians are going to be in a separate zone. In a separate, like, reservoir area. And I'll get their reservoir squared away now. Multiple reservoirs at the start of the game is relatively expensive, which is why I would normally avoid it, but hopefully I can play around it and not be hamstrung by it. So now, as you can see, there's kind of reservoir coverage everywhere. The reservoir isn't going to fall apart. The reservoir doesn't need maintenance like the other buildings do. So if there's a maintenance indicator here, it means it needs to be repaired by an engineer. So some things like don't require maintenance, for better or for worse, like a reservoir. So this will stand here no matter what. It's not gonna break on me, which is good. So, putting a lot of jobs out for the basic resources so I can continue building. And done. Plebe time. Same sort of layout. Actually, you know what? Let's try to have their layout be a little fancier, shall we? A little prettier than the, you know, they are supposed to have prettier homes. So I will design with that in mind. Alright, so here's our patrician houses with its own market. And we're going to need to start growing the melon and cabbage that they eat to be able to satisfy their requirements. One way to avoid getting massacred is to artificially decrease your prestige level so that you don't get on the radar of raiders. I'm not planning on trying to like min-max the game in that way. So I'm just going to allow it to happen as it would naturally. But this new area here obviously is going to need maintenance and repair. So, oh, actually there's some buildings over here that don't have it. So this initial post I'm going to move entirely to service a new area. Set up another engineer post up here dedicated to the resource gathering. And then set up a third over here for the patrician houses. Cool. Because otherwise we're just going to have unmitigated fires and ruins and the like. Like this. Speaking of which, gotta get those taxpayers. So let's get another block of patrician houses. Over here. And I am out of stone, so we have to wait to quarry up more stone. Now, if I want more stone, there is stone right here. It's going to be hard to quarry it and not uglyify the patrician houses, but I'm going to do it anyway. Just to try to keep the warehouse and the actual quarry tent as far away from the houses as possible. Because as you can see, it's close, but it won't overlap. Which is, you know, really the only requirement. Alright, a building did collapse due to fire. Hey, firefighters, can you work better? I know it's only one dude, and I'm not, so I'll increase their hiring target to 2. Okay, it's fine. Increase the markets to 2. And these guys don't have a tax office yet or a market, so we'll set up a tax office and associated market. I'm still not on the radar of raiders, which is good. So markets to 2, taxes to 2. Cool. We're not broken even for money yet, but on harder difficulty maps, it's more important to focus on patricians paying taxes early on, because it's very easy to go deep into the deficit otherwise. To that end, I'm going to set up some nice gardens for the patricians so that they hit level 2 requirements. So now they want baths, bread, and fish. And we raised our prestige, so at prestige level 4, we start to get on the radar of raiders. So it's going to be important to start training guards and building walls and the like. I do have a warehouse here, and I have a warehouse here, so putting my weapons production around these areas are going to be wise. But the first thing I want to do is to put planks and cut stone, as they're more important than weapons because they're involved in weapon production anyway. Also, I will have more patricians doing work if I beautify their starting area as well. So I'll invest in that so we have more workers. And they're going to need onions and carrots. So we'll get onions and carrots in the granary in a minute. I also have access to the nicer roads. I don't have a lot of stone, raw stone, to be able to actually put access, you know, to put the roads in, but I will be working towards that as soon as I get the stone. Speaking of stone, there is this stone here that I could build a bridge to. We do get bridges at tier 4, so I could hypothetically build a bridge over there. It'd be a little bit more challenging to guard, because then I would be offering raiders a path to cross the river, but there's also this stone over here that I could get instead. So I have a lot of options for metal, and there's this metal too. This metal's a little bit far out from my currently established boundary, though, so I'm not going to aim for it. Before I go any further, I want to make sure... Okay, yes, I was appropriately worried. Not all of my houses have fire coverage. So I'm going to move this here. This here. There we go. Let's take a look again. Engineering coverage covers everything. Fire coverage covers everything. And there's also these overlays too that I haven't really shown. They don't show coverage exactly, but they show the risk of collapse and the fire risk, which is sort of similar, but the risk of collapse and fire risk will only update, you know, once things are like experiencing decay, in other words. So it doesn't help you to thwart issues as easily. So let's offer baths both groups of people because they both require it. And we're making tax money, which is good. Now I'm going to focus a little bit on keeping the patricians happier. So we want to hit 25 desirability there. And some fountains will do. So now all of them have 25 desirability. So the next one is fish and bread. I'm not worried about thefts just yet, and murders and everything. Our favor's still pretty good. So fish and bread. Bread, I'll start growing here. Fish, I can catch, and this is still within the sphere of influence of the of this granary. So this fishing dock doesn't require its own granary, which is really nice. And then fishmongers. So we got fish and bread. And that's for the patricians, so they pay more taxes. And then the plebeians they also want the 25 desirability. So let's increase desirability for them with fountains as well. Done. And then their next requirement is cabbage and bread. So cabbage is something that the patricians were already eating, so I'm going to need to increase the amount of cabbage that I grow to meet demand. And taking a look. Oop, nice. Take it. So now we're prestige 5, and we're going to get that makeover. But taking a look at the supply and demand. Wheat we're meeting, melons we're meeting, onions, cabbage, bread we are not meeting. So we would need to increase the amount of people making bread, but we do have 2 open bakery jobs. So as our plebeian population goes up, we might meet that, so I don't need to work on that. Fish fillet we are not meeting, but we only have 3 out of 4 fishmongering jobs, so that might change as time goes on as well. What I'm going to do is, now that I have the stone, put the road infrastructure in. So that we have very nice roads, making it easier to maintain with the engineers and fight fires with the firefighters. And from here on out, I'll make an effort to only use the upgraded roads so that everything is fast and efficient. Also just looks nicer. Alright. Bakeries is nearly breaking even, but not enough for me to feel safe. So I'm going to add another bakery in and another fishmonger in so that I fully meet that demand. And at this point, I would say, once the patrician houses hit their next level by meeting the fish and bread requirements, here we go, is a pretty safe time now that I have that influx of tax money coming in, because as you can see, I'm almost broke. I only have 3,000 dinars or whatever it is left. Getting the patrician housing up to this tier is right about the right time to pivot towards working on defense, in my opinion. You don't want to do it too early, because if you do it too early, you end up without the economy to support a military, when that's not good, because then that's a death spiral. Just making sure that I'm meeting demands everywhere. I need one more fish here. There we go. I will need pork and a pig farm to be able to support the guardsmen. So we'll put that in now. That's the pig farm. And then we need a butcher. And I like to, even though I'm not using the pigs, I like to max out the amount of pigs that I breed, because you can sacrifice pigs for God's favor, which helps to keep you off of the naughty list. Which is, in my opinion, pretty important. Unless you don't mind them ransacking you. In fact, should we appease the gods or ignore them? What do you guys think? I could go either way. I'm going to be right back. I can hear Tusk barking up a storm, so I'm going to go grab her. One sec. Sorry about that. Alright, you guys are... bootlickers? No, I'm just kidding. Looks like you guys want me to appease the gods. I'm going to leave the pull up a little bit longer. But, we're getting quite a lot of prestige here. So a lot of the patrician housing is leveling up, as I have supplied all that they've asked for. And as you can see, it is heavily affecting my tax revenue, which is what I was waiting for. Meaning that it might be time to spin up weapon making. So swords, bows, armor. I'm not yet going to put in recruits barracks and guard. No, actually, well, hell with it. Let's do it. Recruit barracks, guard training. And I'm going to focus on defense before I focus on attack. And it looks like you guys want me to appease the gods, so I will. I'll do as you wish. Knowing that I'm about to have a private army, I would very much like to level up the patrician houses once again. Meaning, in this case, adding chicken farms and dairy or cow farms to the production queue. And I'm filling up this peninsula pretty fully with work. Alright, the gods are not really angry yet, so I'm going to continue to ignore them a little bit longer, but I will eventually appease them. Now, the other requirements here is that they want a theater. And I was hoping... Okay, the theater doesn't quite reach both halves of the city. So, the plebeians don't care for theaters, or at least not yet. So I'm going to put my theater squarely here. This is the patricians' theater. And I will also include an acting school. But the acting school... It doesn't make sense for patricians to, you know, be actors. So I'm going to put the acting school next to the forum. And hire 2 actors. Alright, the other requirements for the patricians leveling up is a desirability of 40+. So let's open up the desirability meter. I am at like mid-20s. So let's boost those numbers. Destroying some original gardens because they're not particularly efficient, and putting in gladiator statues. Alright, so we've hit the desirability rating, the reservoir, the baths, the theater, and now we just need the food. And to that end, I think I am producing enough of it for them. I am not producing enough wheat, though, because we added a whole bunch of additional bread making. So one more wheat farm at the very least. As far as the plebeians go, they just want a tavern. So let's give them their tavern. That would require a winery. And, grapes. Put another granary in here. I'm going to raise the priority of the wine and the grapes to 4 out of 5 so that they get filled, because if I want more plebeian workers, I need to be able to supply them with their demands, and their demands is that they want a tavern. So let's plop a tavern in. I'm actually going to change something pretty significantly. I'm going to change the route, and I have the game paused, where the reservoir comes in, so that I can use this area for building. So instead, I'll have the reservoir route this way, which doesn't block me from building in this spot, which is kind of nice. So, tavern. Done. So now the plebe housing also has the requirement for 25% plus for attractiveness. So I'm deleting the corners there, and I'll put in lion statues. And I am currently out of money, so I have to wait till end of day for the tax income to come in. But a lot of my patrician housing is like very high level now, which is bringing a lot of money, which is great. Yeah, bread and circus indeed. Yeah, as you can see, the money is really, I'm printing it now. So I just have to wait till end of day. Ooh, I am getting attacked. So, this is actually a great example of getting attacked without a defense force. I didn't think that enemy risk at 20% would have me be attacked, but here we go. So we have 2 armies coming in, and they're just gonna, like, smash, I'm gonna guess, like, 8 to 10 buildings, and then leave. So I have shown you, like, a successful base defense when I have guards. This is one without guards, because I hadn't actually trained any guards yet, because I didn't have the capacity for it. So they have burned 8 buildings, and those buildings are going to go to ruin, and I just need to repair them and rebuild them. They didn't actually kill anyone, so their motivations are a little strange, in my opinion. One of the problems I ran into, though, is my sawmill. Did I have a sawmill? Yeah, maybe I didn't have a sawmill. I'm, like, out of planks, so I need to spin up planks in order to replace what I've lost. And I'm also going to do the same with stone cutting. Get a bunch of stone cutters too. Build, rebuild, rebuild. So everything got fixed up. And the plebeian houses, now that I have a little bit of money, I can put in the lion statues, get a bunch more plebeians, put them to work, and start to train guards. Do I have a... Oh, so I have a butcher, but my patricians are eating the pork for their next tier, so I'm going to need more pigs, more butchers, in order to satisfy demand. No problem. So pork steak, we're breaking even now, but as we hire more, we'll get ahead of that. We're still in the positive for pigs per day. Yep, so pork steak is now positive. Good. Let's, so the acting school burnt down, and as a result, the 2 trained actors that I had disappeared, which is a penalty of having things burned down. But let's start getting guards. I'm going to train up to 4. And with the guards, I want to start to enclose my, my everything in walls. which will be pretty easy given the map terrain, because I just need a wall from here to the lake, and then the lake over to the river. So, pretty easy to fulfill. Taking a look at my cut stone, I'm going to get another stone cutter, because I know pretty soon I'm going to need all of the temples, because the gods have not been appeased for a while. And, yeah. Seeing the writing on the wall, yeah, we're going to want to fulfill that. Let's start with watchtowers, I guess. So I want to put double watchtowers here in the bottom. It doesn't exactly police anyone because these watchtowers are not close to where people live, but this will keep us defended, which is, I think, important. All right, before I continue with the defense, as you can see, with the mass blinking, we are going to need to supply religion to the masses. So I'm going to spread the temples out for now. But we're going to want a temple for each. And for each, for one, I'm going to do a festival. But for the rest, I'm just going to sacrifice pigs to keep them happy and not murdery. So Apollo and Ceres, your last but not least. Here's Apollo. And this is why I like to make a lot more pigs than I need, so that I can just sacrifice pigs to the gods and not die a grisly death. There. How complex is this? Not super complex. On harder difficulties, it can get difficult, but that's not to say it's, like, necessarily complex. So I wasn't making enough grapes. I'm going to put more people in the vineyards. My eggs and milk are barely breaking even. But that would be the only of concern. Okay, we have a fully enclosed city now. So what I need to do is to have engineer posts to protect it from decay, and then to man it with guards. I did just mention that my eggs and milk were just about breaking even, so let's add a little bit more capacity. And we also have unemployment, so it solves both problems. So let's lay out our towers so that we have, like, a lot of tower coverage. Overlapping, like I did before. We've already been attacked once. And, you know, we can swear never again. So I don't quite have the iron ore and planks for this last one, but we will pretty soon. Let's make sure that we have all the iron miners that we can. So go into the jobs bill. Fine. Iron mine? Yeah. All the iron miners that can be working are working. I think for the aesthetics, I'm also going to have the only entryway into the city be a bridge that is guarded. I think that will look nice. All right, the currently unmanned guard jobs is numbers 15. I'm going to train 20 because I also intend to have guard camps in the city too. Right? Because it's not just the walls, it's the citizens that need policing too. Or plebeians and patricians, to be more precise. And that looks like pretty good guard coverage. That covers just about all the city. So how many jobs is that? 23? All right, let's add 3 more guards. That should be all the guards we need to be able to keep our perimeter and city protected. So let's run a perimeter pathway out. And then, like I said, for the aesthetics, I wanted like a bridge into the city. So we'll put the city's entryway here, because that will look nice. Meaning this is the entry guard. We'll put a little gate with 2 towers down there once I have the iron ore. Or, you know what? Maybe I'll do it this way. That's the entryway, but the gate will be on our side of the river. That might look nicer. Gate with like 2 watchtowers overlooking the gate. Aha! So I have utilized moat mode. Thank you for tuning in to Citadelum, which originally streamed live on Twitch October 29th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Roman citizens.